It's not easy to start from scratch your own thing, and then just also like with Hito, to just bring it out there and almost sell yourself again, sell yourself in a different way. But your clothing line will be you, and that's what you have to sell. Hey, Ageless Ambitions on luxemediastudios. We're here with another episode, and this one's really special to me because, you always want to be in other people's shoes, right? And you just want to see how they really expand in what they're doing. And I just love what she does. So I wanted her to be on my show today. And she does all things fashion. And that's just, we all want to be fashion, right? So this is Libby Jones. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so glad that you made it. And I just can't wait to dive in.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited just to be here with you. It's like our own little intimate room.
There you go. I love it. I love it. So we met through a mutual friend who was my publicist. And, the best thing to do in LA is go to LA Fashion Week and be in the front row,
Yes.
and Libby, that's it. That's who you have to know. But first, let's just get into simple things. Like, I want to know where you grew up, where you were born. Were you born in LA?
I was born in LA, grew up in the San Gabriel Valley, um, small town in the valley. And I always wanted to do fashion. My mom was a seamstress growing up. She worked for Louis Vuitton for 35 years.
No, she
So
didn't.
yes, she
How
retired.
cool is that?
Yeah, so I always saw her sewing. Like growing
Okay.
up, just that was always, she'd always sew us things. So I had fashion um
My mom
background,
sewed. My mom sewed.
Really. I
Yeah,
think it's such a great craft to know because you can do
right.
so many things. You can make your own curtains, you can you can do so much.
She
So
did everything. She had 5 kids, so she made all our clothes, right? Because she couldn't afford anything, but so she made our own clothes.
yeah.
And then she inspired my niece, who I had on the show too, who went to FITM. Not She didn't go to FITM. She went to Otis College,
Okay. Yeah.
graduated, and started out at a few places. Fox. They have a sports line, a motorcycle line, and
Yeah.
then she moved into more costumes. She was at Weissman's. She did costumes and they were
Wow.
featured on Dance Moms and everything. But she just
Amazing.
got like a job at a supplement place, and they didn't have like any clothes, and they hired her to do the whole line. So
Wow. That's
it's just
amazing.
to be able to sew, because my mom so that it's inspired through the family that you're where you're
Yeah.
at today. So I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
So she was with Louis Vuitton. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah. For many, many years. I think there's always like a seed planted somewhere in our lives that gives us an inkling on like which direction we want to go if we like it, and if we pursue it, if we're brave enough to pursue it, I
Right.
think doors
Right.
open up. And so, fast forward, I worked in healthcare for 12 years. I did, right
Oh wow.
after high school and college. Um, had a family early on, so kind of had to work, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't what was driving me. So one year I just decided I had had enough. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was bringing me a paycheck, but it wasn't joy. And so I quit.
Wow.
And I said, I'm going to give myself a year to
Okay.
definitely dedicate myself to something that I love. And if it doesn't work in one year, if I can't progress, if I can't move forward, then I have to go back to corporate. So that first year I interned at Los Angeles Fashion Week with Art Hearts Fashion. It was my first, real fashion show. And I just worked extremely hard. Like, I was already the oldest one there, I think. Everyone was super young interning. So yeah,
But
where I got
it's
my
your
start.
background. It's your background in probably the healthcare, and knowing that the discipline
Yeah,
of that and what you had to do to do that for 12 years. You use that discipline, right?
I
Because
definitely
I'm
did.
sure that those younger interns didn't even come close to what you could do to get that experience and let them see how much you could offer them with your expertise of
Yeah.
just knowing how to be on top of it.
Yeah, my customer service was on 10 because I already knew. I came from working with doctors and nurses, and I just knew follow-up was important. I knew greeting people was important. First impressions are important. So yes, I did have that advantage.
That is so great because that's what I think is missing a little bit in our, culture of, and that's the thing that was probably instilled with you
Yeah,
too, with your mom and sewing and just all the things that you watched her do as you know, just being embodied by something that's very, very important to come through and do things that, mean something. It's not just like,
yeah,
oh, okay, hey, see you later. No, it's
yeah,
instilled.
no.
That's the things that are important.
You never know who you're and and even if you're talking to simply someone that's doing the maintenance to someone that's a CEO, I think everyone should be treated with respect no
I love
matter their
that.
position. And I
I
think
love that.
sometimes in this industry it's reversed. It's like, well, since you're a nobody, we don't have to treat you the same. But I'm
Yeah,
trying to change the culture where everyone, no matter who you are, even if it's a volunteer, even if it's an intern, even if it's someone that's here that we're paying to be here to work on our production, they deserve the same level as respect as the owner
I
of the
love that.
company or as the owner of a big beauty brand. I mean,
Yeah. And that's what
yeah,
I love about this show because we want the positivity, you know, of what people can say to inspire, right? And like you
yeah,
said, we're all one. We can all be as good as we can be and we could all be treated well. And that's something that I love to talk about on the show too, because most people are just not, they don't care, you know? And so it's just nice to know that in your industry and what you're doing and who you're surrounding yourself with, you put everybody the same. And I love that. That's so great.
yeah.
So when
Thank
you're,
you.
so, okay, so you got to intern there, but how did it get to doing what you are today? Because you are just doing events, you have partnerships, you're doing not only LA Fashion Week, but Miami Fashion Week, New York, and now you're almost, I don't know if you've done it yet, but going into Paris. I want to
Yeah.
do it. Darn.
Um, I would definitely have to say that God has definitely helped me. I entered this industry knowing nobody, like literally nobody. And I have so many amazing relationships that I've built. Number one, because of who I am and my character. I'm a very transparent person. I mean, when we met, I think we hit it off, you and I. And ever since
Well,
then,
I
I've
didn't
just
take it
been
for granted. I didn't take it for granted, right? Like some people just assume they're going to be
right.
getting something. No, I wanted to make sure it worked out. And if you
Yes,
could help me, I wanted to, give back because that's the kind of person I am. And then
yes,
that's how relationships really form. It's not just this
it is.
one-sided thing like, oh, you can get me that front row seat. So, hey, and then just don't even
Right.
say thank you or you know, just some kind of repercussion of just, no, that's all I'm going to think about is that I got that front row. No, that's not good. So
Right.
yeah,
And that happens a lot too in the industry. And I
yes,
think knowing, it's hard to decipher people's real intentions, but I think that as long as
that's
I
what I wanted to
remain
say.
true to myself,
Mm-hmm.
I can pretty much decipher if if I only get that call around when it's New York time, or if I only get that text when it's LA time. Um, and of course, I mean, business is business, but when you're trying to create long-lasting relationships, it's to know who those people are. But I've been lucky enough to come across so many amazing designers and build those relationships off of, not just continuous one time a business transaction, but over the months and years and just continually, sending them things or them sending me things and it being a genuine relationship. And that has gotten me so much further in life than just trying to reach out because of an event happening.
I love
And I
that.
think they
I
see
love
that.
Yeah. So what exactly do you do so that anybody that's interested in fashion
Yeah.
or wants to, be an event builder or whatever when it comes to the fashion world, what is it that you do and how can we like tell people that if they're interested in something like that, that's something they can check out?
Yeah, so right now, what I do is I just bring brands together. So whether you're
Okay.
a beauty brand, whether you're a designer, whether you're, any kind of brand. It doesn't have to be beauty, really. It just has to, if you can see it fitting with fashion in any sense or any kind of event, um, we just connect the dots together. I mean, I'm working on a few other things. I really can't say too much about some other projects that I have in the works,
That's
but
fine.
I definitely am expanding my wings, as I like to say,
Okay,
um,
that's
to
cool.
grow and maybe, provide some more additional services for brands. And this is something that literally just fell on my lap because I'm not actively out pursuing or placing ads that I do these things. And what I mean these things is more like, just connecting. Like, for example, like Hito, right? That's the skincare brand, right? It's
And you
amazing, by the
use
way. I love
keto.
it.
Thank you. I
Yes,
love
I
that.
love all of the natural ingredients in it. And I do my homework too. This is something so important. I do my homework on brands. I don't just reach out to brands or connect with brands, or if they reach out to me, I want to know who I'm connecting with and what it's about, what their brand goals are. Once we can have like an initial meeting and a call, then I see, okay, I think this is what's best for you. And these are the
Hmm.
opportunities that I have for you, and this is how much it's going to cost, or hey, this doesn't have a cost. It really just depends where you're going. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm helping align the brands to what best fits their needs.
I love that. I love that. We
Yeah.
got to get Hito going for sure with you. That's
Yeah.
something else. Maybe that's why we had this conversation too, because we've been around each other for a couple years now, and that's
Yeah.
that's that stuff wasn't important, like in terms of just, hey, get Hito.
Yeah.
No, no, it was just more about us and just loving what you're doing, seeing what you're doing
Yeah.
on Instagram and the people that you
Thank
surround
you.
yourself with. Miami looks so special. You invited me there, but I don't know how I don't know, like this, like how do you even get
Next
there
year
and
you
do
have
it?
to
Next,
come. You have to come.
yes. Okay.
Yes,
But
Miami's an
so you put
experience.
brands together. So how does like you do the LA Fashion Week, but it's a certain, is it like the Hearts? Is it a certain group of people that you work with? Because there's different places in LA
There is.
Fashion Week, right?
There is. So the production company that I work directly with is Art Hearts
Production
Fashion.
company.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
So the executive producer, who's a very good friend of mine, his name is Eric Rosette. He
Okay.
basically is the president of the company. He puts together the entire show. I definitely assist him in bringing on brands that are interested in showing in LA. We put together, some other like events this season. We're gonna try to do some more like chats and like some networking events, maybe like a designer event where it's not just runway. I think a little bit of what's missing in Los Angeles is more of the networking with like, some top media like Vogue, Elle, to really connect with the brands, So we're
Versus
really
just doing the
focusing
runway. Just doing the
versus doing
runway.
the runway because you've been to the shows. They're
Yes.
nonstop. They're back to back. So and the music is loud and there's
So
a
there's
lot
no
going on.
communication that can really happen through
I mean,
just
there's communication, but if we really wanted to have a deep conversation to talk maybe business or maybe connect, it's difficult.
right.
You
Right,
know,
because it just keeps going and going and going until like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
you get pulled in many different directions. So I think
right.
having some time to connect and network. I know past season we did a designer brunch, and
Oh,
that was very neat. Our Vogue editor was there, trying to put together some more events like that.
I love that. I love that. So that's
Yeah,
your expansion. Like that's your ageless ambition to keep growing and just not even stopping in the world of just runway, at the at the
right.
at the fashion weeks, right? So you want to definitely
Yes.
like expand in what you do, and you're very good at it. You're very good at,
Thank
you
you.
know, uh how you meet up with people or you just show yourself, like I said, on social media, that
Thank
makes us want to be a part of what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's so special
you.
to, see your posting, because it's just like, I want to do that. I
Yeah.
want to be that.
Well,
And that's
thank
that's
you.
what everybody probably feels, because they don't
Yeah.
even know how you get to do that kind of stuff.
I feel like I need to post more. There's so many pictures I have that I don't even
You
post.
do.
I'm really trying to connect more with designers and with the brands. I think for me, the next step is to work closer with brands. So I have a soft spot for internships, and I'm
Okay.
always looking for internships, like for LA, in New York, and Miami. We're actively always looking for an intern. I'm personally looking for an intern right now for New York
Okay.
to kind of be my right hand and help me. Um, it just
I
it
might
just
have some
helps.
people in mind, so that'd be
Yeah, shoot them
interesting.
my way.
You know, who she's like she's into, she's model, but she's just more into maybe the behind the scenes versus modeling. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
she's a free bird, so hey, you never know. In fact, she's coming over here a little bit later because she wanted to borrow a dress or some kind of thing. So
awesome.
I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
connect her with me.
okay, I will do that.
Yeah,
So to me, like the thing that is so cool is like you work with brands, but I don't think
yeah,
that people know that you can maybe ask you about their brand, or
yeah,
how can they can even connect with that. Like the internship's one thing, but brands that are just trying to get out there, trying to show their stuff. I mean, that's just like me with keto. It's like there's a million skincare lines, so how do you push yourself to get to be recognized by somebody like you?
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candace Barr, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
I mean, I would say coming to these types of events, I
Okay.
would say for me, interning, not knowing anyone was definitely a step in the right direction, right? Because I just got introduced to a whole new world. Sometimes when you're at these places, you never know who's going to be there. Like, I mean, even like meeting you, I've never met you in my life, but had I not followed my dream, had I not volunteered or interned, we would never have crossed paths.
Right,
And
right.
this happens to me so many times. Even in Miami Swim Week, I met a brand, amazing, amazing brand, and I was literally invited to a lunch, very casually. But had I not attended that lunch, I would have never met that brand. So sometimes it's invitations, or sometimes it's attending events,
Opportunity.
um, opportunities, and you never know who you're going to meet. Like that's why I said you never know who you're talking to. You have to treat everyone with respect. You always have to have your best foot forward. You have to look your best. Something that I've learned from a dear friend of mine, kind of like a mentor, is never go outside your home looking like a hot mess. When you leave your house, you leave like you're going to meet the president.
No,
Like
maybe
look
don't tell me
look
that.
presentable.
I walk my
That
dogs at 7 in the morning. I'm like, oh God. And you just got to clean that stuff up and walk in the dirt. I like it's so
feet,
hard to get
yeah,
that kind of ready. But I know what you're talking about because
yeah.
you do want to put your best foot forward when you walk out the door. You just never know,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, for brands that are interested, I mean, my DMs are always open. I have a link in my Instagram that also leads to my email that they could just email
Oh,
me
good.
directly.
Okay.
And typically, I always just set up a video call similar to this so that I can hear their goals. And there have been times when I have to tell brands that I personally don't think their brand is ready for a show. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's a hard truth, but I'm not in it to take people's money, because shows cost money. They're a big investment.
Right.
So if they're not ready, then I'd rather be the one to tell them and keep the relationship than lie to them, or because there's a lot
And
of
just
that
take their
happening in this.
money because they're
Yeah,
desperate and they just feel like if you pay, it's going to work out. And that's not always the
yeah,
truth.
no. And I don't want to be that person. I'm not in the industry to do this. I
Hmm.
really am passionate about brands. I'm passionate about fashion and keeping my relationships and my reputation too. If I start lying to people, then word's going to get out and it'll catch up to
Oh
me
yeah,
at
she
some
just
point
did
in my
this
life.
because of that, right?
Yeah,
And then that it becomes a not a
yeah.
good thing. So that's why you're so popular. Like I mean, that's when I just see
Oh,
you all over the place and just surrounded by so many great people each city
thank
that you
you.
go to. So
Thank
with that,
you.
what is your favorite place to go? Do you love New York? Do you love Miami? I mean, of course we live in LA, so we don't want to count that. But have you been to Paris? Have you been there?
I've never done Paris, so that was a door that opened for me this year. I am going to go to Paris Fashion Week. When I did my vision board for 2023, Paris was on my list. And then in February, that door opened for me. So I'm really hoping that I get to go this year. If it doesn't happen, doesn't mean I'm not going to go, right? Sometimes
Right, right,
timing is
right.
everything. I
Mhm,
never
mhm.
thought I'd go to New York and Miami and do multiple fashion weeks, but here we are. So,
Well, Paris you have to go to when you're in the fashion world, you have to
yeah.
hit Milan and all that because that's the go-to of
Have
just
you been?
fashion.
Have you been to Paris
I've
Fashion
been.
Week?
I have.
Amazing. Do you love
Yeah.
it?
It was just incredible. Incredible. Like
Yeah. Next level.
that's why it's so important to, just know how much fashion is so exciting for people to look forward
Yeah.
to and see what's coming up and stuff like that. It just it's inspiring. And I know a
Yeah.
few people on Instagram who are models and they do the runway in New
Yeah.
York and Miami and that. And just to see how, they get to, show them their beautiful bodies in these clothes, big,
Yeah.
small, it doesn't matter. They're just,
Yeah.
shining bright because it doesn't matter anymore. Pretty much your size these days.
Yeah.
There's all different
Yeah.
levels of how to model clothes, and
It's a
that
lot of work for
inspires
these
me too.
models too.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
much work for them and they don't get sometimes, or they don't get tagged, but I give a bow to the models, really. They're there for hours and hours and hours, and they don't get
They
as
sacrifice
enough
a
credit.
lot.
They do.
They've
Yeah.
sacrificed a lot, and the brands, there's so many people out there trying to model and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but when you do reach that point, I'm sure it's just very special for them to feel like they got to do the runway in one of the fashion
Yeah.
weeks around the country, around the world. So
Yeah.
if there's okay, so I already know you want to do Paris, but this is Ageless Ambitions, and it's a positive, you know, voice to let everybody know when they are inspiring themselves to want to do something and not being afraid to go for it. What kind of advice would you give somebody that would love to do this, as well as, I know you gave a lot of advice, but a little bit more, but also what would you love to be doing that you see in yourself in the upcoming years?
Um, I would really love to start my own brand, which I kind of did already. Um, with like very limited edition pieces, limited edition collections. Um, yeah, that is something, one of my, like, I
I
guess,
love it.
next 5-year goals, definitely to launch
Okay.
that. I feel like God is like, I gave you everything. You have all the photographers, you have all the models, all these seamstresses. It's literally all just in here on paper. Like I said, my mom used to sew, so I've been sketching since I was little. I have sketchbooks full of collections that I've already
You know what?
made.
You got to do it. This is so great. I
I
love
know.
that. It's
So
it's
just,
it's not easy. It's
yeah,
not easy to start from scratch your own thing, and then just
yeah,
also like with Hito, to just bring it out there and almost sell yourself again. Sell yourself in a
yeah,
different way. But that
yeah,
your clothing line will be you. Like, and that's what you have to
yeah.
sell, you know.
That's what I've been telling myself, is that, your brand is your identity. It's your DNA. It has to be, when they see that, it has to represent you. And so that's what I've been really struggling with. I know who I am. I need to make sure it's translating into my collection and into my clothing line. So that's part of it. Another part of it is, I've always seen myself mentoring, like the younger generation. So somehow either creating some type of like an agency or something where, like, I'm still working with the fashion industry, but also bringing up the next generation, the other women that want to work in this industry. I feel like it's very male dominated, and I feel like we need more women, more Latina women, more just women of all races and colors in the industry,
I love that.
who
I
have a
think that
good
would be
heart.
such a great idea. Such a
Yeah,
great idea. Boy, if you need
yeah,
any help, I don't know what I could do, but those two things, I am here 100% to
yes,
guide or whatever I
amazing.
can do because business is hard,
It is.
entrepreneurship is hard. And
It is.
it takes, we were talking about this yesterday. It's like you have to have, it's a special beast inside you that
Yeah,
if you want it bad enough, you can do it. And it's
yeah,
24/7. It's not just, you know, whenever you want. It's like
Yeah.
all the time, all day. But I'm looking forward to that. That's what I'm looking forward to see with you, especially the agency. I don't know. I just think that's so
And
cool.
where did you come, Ageless Ambitions? I mean, does that, to me, when I think of that, it makes me think like aged is just a number. Like it doesn't matter how old you are. You can start,
Absolutely.
you know, I love that. I love
Ageless.
that.
Well, you know, I'm turning 65 in
No
December.
way. Where? Girl, you look great.
So, you know, I have to have that. I have to have ageless ambitions because we all need to keep growing no matter what age we are.
Yeah.
Because the stigma is, oh, well, you know, you're older, so all you do is, you know, I don't know, go to the beach and read a book. No,
Right.
we have so much more to do in our lives. And that's the most important thing that I'm trying to,
Yeah.
you know, put out there is you can't ever stop wanting to want more to better yourself.
Yeah,
That's
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 true.
the key. So
Yeah. I love that. It just hit me right now. So sorry, I just had a little break there for the
it's
ageless
okay
ambition. I love that. I love, love, love that.
because people are just think that we just, you know, at a certain age, everybody just kind of falls off the
Yeah.
earth. No, we can
Yeah.
keep going and going and going. And in fact, you know, as we are growing up and aging, you know,
Yeah.
our looks of aging are, you know, not
Yeah.
as what we thought we were going to be like when we saw our mothers or our grandmothers
Right.
or that we can be youthful and different where that's the stigma that they
Yeah.
had, so they had to look like that. They all had to go to the hairdresser and get their hair, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We are
Yeah.
freer to do whatever we want, to be whoever we want. And I think that's just a goal for all of us. So thank you for being here, Libby.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
You inspire me. I just, you know, everybody
Thank you.
loves what everybody else is doing, like I said, and fashion is so big deal for me, and I just love it. I just love seeing what you're doing, and
Well,
it just
you're so
inspires me.
fashionable yourself, Christy.
I wish I was. I'm going to get
You
better this year.
are.
That's going to be my goal too, because you know, I don't know. I just don't see myself so
We can put
fashionable.
together some private styling sessions for you.
I would
I would
love
love to
that.
do that. Yes,
Oh my God, I'm so bad. You have no idea. And even
we
my
would love
boyfriend's
that.
like, you know, do you have to look like a dancer all the time? Like you just wear the, you know, it looks like I'm going to go to class.
Yeah, well,
So
sometimes
I just need to,
we know what fits our body, and we're also
yeah,
sometimes we're comfortable with what we know, we know we look good with this type of cut in our body. But what I'm realizing now, even in my own like fashion, because I look back at pictures, I'm like, I don't know if I would wear that back then, but now I'm really trying to like just play with different kind of textures and layering and you know, it's time.
I
Why
need to
not?
do that.
You
It's
only
time.
live
Yeah. And
once.
right. And I just saw like, you know, some TikTok thing and they're putting on these like cute little pants. I'm like, I would have never thought to buy that. Like never. So you have to
Yeah,
open up your doors and just,
you
you know,
do.
like see things a little differently. So I think that's
You
going to be
do.
great.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that. I need that for,
Yeah.
I just
Let's
need it.
do that for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
message me.
perfect.
We'll put it together.
Let's do it. Okay. If anybody else wants to know anything more about Libby, just all the information is going to be on the show while we're talking.
Thank
So
you.
all that will be on there. If you want to DM her, she's open to
Yeah,
seeing brands and models, whatever you are, fashion, she's there for you because that's so not easy to do. You know what I'm
it
saying?
is. Yeah,
It's hard to DM people. So
it
you're
is.
open enough to, you know, at least reach back or whatever. And that's
Yeah,
so that means so much to me because that's the kind of person I am too. So
thank you.
much
Yeah.
appreciated. Okay, Libby, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. We'll talk
You're so
soon.
welcome. Okay, Ageless Ambitions on Lux Media Studios. Please watch all the other episodes because they're so good and inspiring, and we just can't wait for you to come back next week. See you soon.